All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah HaKodash. I double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to Yakim bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. And as you see, this article is from Reuters, and it says Spain to launch tool to monitor hate. I'm going to say that in quotations, right, on social media. Prime Minister Sanchez says, Spain will launch a tool to measure hate speech on digital platforms as part of a broader strategy to increase oversight of social media companies. Right, so more than likely, we understand that, as the scripture says here in the book of 2 Corinthians 2:11, it tells us, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right, when we read that in the NLT, it says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. Because ultimately Esau labels whatever he wants as hate speech, right? Anything basically exposing him, he considers that hate speech, right? If it's dealing with the wickedness of the elites, the top banking families, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Getty, so forth and so on, guess what? They're going to label it as hate speech. If it's coming up, if it's the truth being spread about those so-called JOOs over there, guess what? They're going to label that as hate speech. We understand Esau always starts these different companies and motives, these different platforms, organizations, or laws in different countries, right? And then once they've been perfected in the country of their choosing, they then send that idea into the states, and then the states adopts it as its own. Next thing you know, it's implemented as some sort of law or decree here, right? And knowing that this is the place in which the truth, is coming out of majority. Now we have brothers all across the world, preaching, but Babylon being the place where the majority of the prophets are at, right? And understanding that the word that Yahweh Shema Shai is sending forth out of the mouth of his prophets is considered hate speech unto Esau, right? There's a scriptures basically saying how the righteous is adverse unto the wicked is adverse unto the righteous. Hey, well, here we are, right? Esau labels wickedness as righteousness, as scripture says. Matter of fact, I believe it's in the book of Proverbs. I'm going to grab it really quick. Right, this is Proverbs 17:15, and it reads, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord. Right, and here it is. Esau is justified wickedness or adverseness, right? Hey, here it is. You have all different types of porn, right? And Epstein files all across the internet. And all that stuff is still there. Matter of fact, Small Hats own that whole porno industry, man. Right? So it says, he that justifieth the wicked and condemneth the just. Why are those sites up? Why don't they ever have blackouts? Right? Why is nobody wiping all the videos and pictures from those sites? Right? But here it is. He wants to put a censorship on speech that's exposing him. Right? It says, and condemneth the just, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination, right? So when we go back into the article, it says, the country announced a wider plan last month to regulate social media, right? Which ultimately means that a digital ID has to be put into place, right? You have to be logged into the the cybernet ultimately to have a digital ID placed upon your own name. Because that's the only way he can really regulate social media, is everybody has to have a specific code to access it, right? Under their own name. It says, including a ban on its use for younger teenagers, right? How will you know who's a teenager on the internet or not, unless it's linked onto a social security number, unless it's linked onto a birth certificate or a birth date? You won't know the age of that individual that's on that social media site if you can't monitor those their name biometrics, those specific dates or that information, right? It says, including a ban on its use for younger teens and measures to hold platform executives accountable for illegal and hateful content hosted on their services, right? And that goes for YouTube, that goes for Twitter, that goes for Instagram, right? Because here it is, the prophets of Yahweh Shema Shai. You have our videos on all those different sites, and brothers don't necessarily upload on social media as far as like Instagram or things like that, but you have people who watch, who repost something or clip it, right? So ultimately the truth is on every platform, right? It says the whole platform executive is accountable for illegal or hateful content hosted on their services. So this is Esau's plan to censor the net, man. To basically dissipate or try to get rid of truth as a whole, right? And it's ultimately because he's being exposed on every level. Here it is. It's not even just us. You have the common Edomite who's exposing their own family members, man, right? It says, it's like the new tool called Hodeo, an acronym in Spanish for footprint of hatred and polarization, will allow the government to systematically track the presence, amplification, and impact of hate speech online, right? So here it is. They're getting with the governments, which means we understand Esau is going to do what? He's going to merge all of those various government agencies, FBI, all so forth and so on. All those different acronym names, to allow the flow of this information to run smoother, man. Because in doing it, it allows him to have a better track and a better a better grip of his citizens, man. Right? That way you can't bypass certain safeguards, so to speak. It says online hate was causing deep divisions in Spanish society, right? And the same thing is happening here, right? It's not just in Spain, man. No, the scriptures tell you. We're gonna grab it. Oops. This is coming from the book of Matthew. Is Matthew 12 and 26. And if Satan, matter of fact, 25, it says, when Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Ultimately saying what? Here it is, the Lord is causing division on every level, right? Whether it be political, whether it be monetarily, socially. The scripture speaks about thy foes shall be they of your own household. So division is on every level, and it's in every country worldwide. It's not just some American stuff. You see people revolting, rebelling, and causing havocs in the street of every country, right? It says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So going back here to Reuters, it says the new tool called Hodeo, an acronym in Spanish for footprint of hatred and polarization, will allow the government to systematically track the presence, amplification, and impact of hate speech online, which means they're going to always, it's not just they're monitoring hate, they're going to have to monitor everything you type, right? Because for only a post of hatred to quote unquote, or what they deem as hatred, ultimately that's anything coming up against the image of the beast. So if you're saying, hey, a man can't be a woman can't be a man, that the Mo-life is wrong or evil. If you're talking the truth about what's going on in Iran versus, Israel, any of those under that umbrella against what Esau is trying to establish, they're going to deem it as that hate speech, man. Which means they're going to already have the patterns of individuals. Because he tracks your text messages, he tracks your phone calls, your Google searches, so forth and so on, man. So he's going to already have individuals marked on who have said what in the past, your previous history, and things of that sort. And that's why the scripture says this in the book of, not Proverbs. It's coming from the book of Psalms. Psalms 56. It's Psalms 56 and 6. 5. It says, every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They gather themselves together. They hide themselves. They mark my steps. They wait for my soul. So when we go to that in the NLT, it's like it. Let's go to the blue letter. It says they are always, this is 5 in the NLT. It says they are always twisting what I say. They spend their days plotting to harm me. They come together to what? To spy on me, watching my every step, eager to kill me. And that's how he gets down. Anybody opposing his agenda, and he wants to take measures to eliminate them from the planet, man. Right? That's why you'll see in the news certain whistleblowers, they just end up going missing, right? Certain people who bring out truths in whatever nation they may be, and you'll never hear from them again, because E will go find them, go get their families, and silence everybody, man. Right? Because this is what when anybody coming against his new world order is seen forth as a threat to him. It says online hate was causing deep divisions in Spanish society, he said, and it was important to start talking about the footprint of hate in the same way society discusses the carbon footprint. And it's only hate or anti-S, right? Anti-Semi, right? What it involves him. Here it is. You got songs playing on the radio that's talking about the furthering of destruction of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? Here it is, the songs that are most popular in the world got the word nigga in it. Or they talking about bitches. Or they talking about Jake selling drugs or prostituting their women or killing their ops, right? These are songs that are popular on TikTok. These are songs that are popular on Instagram, right? They promote these artists all across the world on TV, in movies. But none of that is hate, though. It's only hate when it comes up against what he wants. And that's the problem, right? So it says we want to start talking about the impact of hate when something is measured. It ceases to be invisible. The tool's result will be made public so that citizens can see who is blocking this content, who is looking the other way, and who is profiting from it. Basically saying that he's going to set up, or they're going to set up certain, data points to show who's against the system, who's posting the content, basically marking you so that not only the government knows that you're against them, right, but that the citizens know that you're an outcast, right? Much like when the 19 happened. Everybody who didn't go and get that juice, what did they do? Hey, the media made them to be enemies of the state. Oh, well, they're making everyone sick, right? Oh, they are against the system. They're the reason why we have to have another lockdown. You see the people that's not wearing their mask? You see the people that's not 6 feet? They're the problem. Look, our society hasn't gotten better because of them, right? And the people, they fed into that narrative, right? Because they trusted Esau's media, right? Which is the government mind control. They trusted that narrative over their own consciousness, so to speak, over their own opinions, over the truth, right? So we're about to see, the truth or the ones who believe in the truth become what? Persecuted. This is all that it's leading down to, the persecution of the elect, persecution of the men of Yahweh Shem Shai who are preaching, man. But, hey, we knew this. Matthew 10, Yahweh Shai warned us, man. If they hate you, they will hate me. Or it's like if they hated me, they will hate you as well, man. It's not you that they hated, but it's me. Hey, so just continuously prepare your spirit, man. Right? Get deeper within the accounts of faith, right? Because, hey, Yahweh Shem Shai isn't going to leave his men, they're just naked, man. No, the scriptures say when an enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, right? That goes for these regular people who are going to try to put their hands on brothers as well, So, yeah, just a quick lesson through the spirit to show what's about to come to America. Here it is, another launch tool to monitor, quote-unquote, hate on social media. And our videos are going to be the first ones taken down, man, right? So, hey, with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the body. I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah HaKodash. And double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone. And a sincere shalom to you, Aki, in bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.